All right, day 9. Today was about, or the plan for today was to talk to you about immigration research and how I found immigration records for all of these ancestors where I didn't have anything. I started to record. I was going to record my research process. For the record, every now and then I get people who say, you should just record yourself just researching. I would watch that. I'd be interested in that. And I have a friend who does genealogy research on Twitch. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a streaming service that they use for video games. And I've never watched her, but I know that she has quite a big following. And she was like, oh, it's so much fun. You should really just research and people can watch you. And I've thought about that. And then I decided to record this research process. And this is how it went. I am going to research this ancestor's immigration, and I'm going to go ahead and take you guys with me. So John Alexander Gordon was born in 1863 in Scotland, died in Wyoming. Let's look at his journey here and figure out how we can tell that story. I got 9 hints on him that I haven't dealt with. Maybe one of them has to do with immigration. Okay, that is just somebody else's family. The problem is, like I said, John Gordon is going to be a pretty common name, but his arrival is not going to be that common. So this says that like these people are coming over in 1920, 1934. He is there before then. I know he is. I don't have brothers in the tree. I just have a lot of sisters. So it's not, we don't have any other names or anything to suggest that this John Gordon is the right John Gordon. Oh, there he is. John Gordon, 17. No other names around him. I don't think that's him. Yeah, this is just marriage information. Anyway, I did record more than that, but it was a lot of the same. It was just me going to all sorts of different websites and trying to find a John Alexander Gordon. It's just too common of a name. It's that there's this sweet spot of coming over from Scotland to America where there just wasn't as much documentation, and I can make very educated guesses about the when and the why and things like that. But I can't, even though I'm finding records where, yeah, this could be him, there's not enough information for me to say, yes, this is him, this is his record, this is the day. So I did not bother. I mean, I was recording things and finally I was like, who's going to watch me not find anything for hours and hours? I also started to get very aware of the fact that he's just one of a series of immigrant ancestors and I needed to move on. So I hadn't found anything. What was I going to do? So let me show you what I did. So yesterday you watched me put this 2-page spread in where I had his profile and family tree, and then I added this immigrant ancestor page and this place of birth page. And so I don't have, a nice tidy immigration record. So what I did is I just talked about what I did have. I talked about kind of the process. I said that he most likely immigrated when he was a teenager. I don't even want to be more specific than that, even though I'm pretty sure I know when he immigrated. And so I said, here's what we do now. I included a copy that shows that he was born in Scotland. Not that this is really like in question, but this just kind of frames, okay, he was in this country and then he was in this country. That means an immigration happened. So he was born, and then here's like this birth record from Scotland. And then I have a list of the different sources and when they say he immigrated, because this is the other problem, is that they're all kind of around the same time. And I think he immigrated like around 1880, but they don't totally match. And honestly, again, I couldn't find anything. And so I just included all of those different dates so that people can look through that and then make their own, mental guess. And then I did say by 1894, we know that he's in America because he's in Wyoming getting married. And I have that record too. So you can see I've got these 2 records that are like framing this black hole negative space of immigration information. And that's what I put on this page, which, it's still a story, right? It's just not as tidy as like, oh, he came over on the Mayflower in this time. And then he's from, I'm sure I can't pronounce that correctly, but Bargatton, Balmagee, Kirkcudbrightshire. Sorry, I think I just butchered that part, from Scotland. And I found 2 images, this one from Wikipedia Commons and this one from the National Collection of Aerial Photography. And I just included them. I didn't include like a ton of information or anything like that in this one. I might for other places, but Scotland, I feel like people have like a mental image of Scotland, and I didn't need to necessarily add a lot more information. Anyway, those 2 pages are done. I needed to move on because, again, 30-day project. I don't want to do it badly, but I also can't spend days and days chasing all of the John Gordons who flocked from Europe to America. And there's a point where there's exhaustive research. You want to do exhaustive research to make sure that you're dotting all of your I's and crossing all of your T's, which is why I can't just find a record that looks like, oh, here's a John Gordon that came over. This is probably it. I need to exhaustively prove that that's the right one. And that's very challenging. But then there's also a point where you've kind of exhausted the topic, at least temporarily. In the future, maybe I'll come up with a different source, a different method or whatever, and I will figure out what the actual immigration record is for this person. In the meantime, we've got most of the story. I've got 2 pages filled out and I'm happy. Also, can you hear my dog? Yeah. She was snoring up a storm, but I disturbed her. All right, that's all for day 9.